Today's lesson for Algebra Half is lesson 56, which talks more about the slope-intercept equation of a line. We've gone over some of this material before. One of the things that we're going to look at in this lesson is if the equation of a line is written in the slope-intercept form, then we can read the slope and the y-intercept directly from the equation and take that and put it right onto the graph itself. From the new concept section of the book, I want you to look at a few things that you'll also see here on the board as well. Here, when we talk about the y-intercept, we see this formula. Y equals the slope times x plus the y-intercept itself. So below that is a formula, y equals 1/2 x minus 1. The slope is 1/2. And if you remember, the word for that is the rise over the run always. So the rise is 1 and the run is 2. The next number is -1, which is the y-intercept. On the following page, 383, you're going to see 6 different examples, and I want you to look at these and think about the number for m is the slope, and the number for b is the y-intercept in this formula. Y equals mx plus b. So the m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So take a look for a moment at the 6 different graphs on page 383 in the middle before we go on to the examples. In the first example, we're going to refer to this equation that we see here in the book. The equation is this: y equals 2/3 x minus 4. Now, in looking at this, the 2/3 is the slope. The -4 is the y-intercept. So over on the next page, we'll see here from the graph that we're going to work on here. I'm trying to draw this neatly. On the graph that you see indirectly here, we're going to look at the numbers. The graph of the equation talks about 1, where the graph of the equation crosses the y-axis. We noted that it crosses the y-axis at -4, so if we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, we know that it would cross over at this point. The rise and the run are the equation of 2/3 times x. Now it's positive 2/3, so we know that the line is going to rise to the right because the slope is 2/3 and that's positive. If we happen to go from the point here and go up 2 and over 3, 1, 2, 3, our next point would be right here. If we wanted a third point, we could go again up 2 and over 1, 2, 3, and that would give us our next point there. That gives us an indication of where we can actually draw our line from, and as you know, it will be in the rise of that particular pattern. Going on to example 2 here, we'll take a look at another new page. With the equation of the lines that you see here in A and B in slope-intercept form, we want to take a look at what point do the lines A and B intersect. Well, you can see in that graph, lines A and B intersect at a point there which looks like 1, 2, and 3, 2, 3. So or 2, 2, sorry. So the AB intersect is at 2, positive 2. You can see that. Also, where it crosses over for line A at the y-intercept is going to be at -2. So for line A, it's going to cross over the y-intercept is going to be -2. For line B, we'll note that the y-intercept is at +2. Now, these don't have any indication as far as the points go itself, but to prove that these lines intersect at 2, 2, we could substitute for x in both equations and then solve for y. Let's go on to a third graph here. In the third graph, we're going to take a look at two different equations again. Letter A is the equation of y equals 2x minus 3. Now, when we have a graph like that, we'll note that the y-intercept is at -3. So that point is going to be 1, 2, 3, 3 points down on the y-axis. Again, this is the y-axis. This is the x-axis itself. The slope, now you see only one number here. Previously, it was 1/2, and that gave us the rise over the run of 1/2. In this case, we have just the whole number 2, but that would be the same as 2 over 1. So the rise is 2 and the run is 1. So we're going to go up 2 and over 1, and there we will find our next point at that point. We can again go up 2 and over 1 and find our next point. We can then connect our dots, showing where our line goes. This is line A. And the equation for B is y equals a -1/2. That's going to give us a downward slope of a line x plus 2. So here the y-intercept is at +2, which is going to be right here. I'm going to do this one in red so we can see the difference here. So it's at +2 right here. And then we are going to go down the other direction when we draw this particular line. Starting at this point, we're going to go down 1 and over 2, down 1 and over 2, down 1 and over 2. You can start to see where the line is forming here. And it will cross over right at this point, which is going to be 2, 1. As far as coordinates go on a graph itself. So you can see how that goes up and down when doing that particular graph. Practice set has more equations that are similar to this.